First up for June, you may remember I showed this in a haul, and I really wanted to keep it, but unfortunately Nick really wasn't keen on it. Every time I asked him to put it up, he put it off and put it off, and eventually I realised it's just not going up, and he really doesn't like it, so I can't force him to. So I decided to sell it instead, and then I was really happy with the profit that we got for it. So it was all good in the end. I'm sure it's gone to a home where somebody loves it just as much as I did, and yeah, I was just really happy to sell it. So this East cardigan has been listed for probably a few months now. As you can see, it's got my old backdrop there, so it's definitely been listed for a while. I think probably people are starting to think about autumn, maybe because it's rainbow and that's very fashionable at the moment. I don't know, it could be to do with people thinking about Pride weekend. It could be any reason, but thankfully it has finally sold. So this skirt is next. It's linen and it's blush pink, which is a win-win really. They're two things that are quite popular at the moment, and it was listed literally a couple of days before it sold. So I've had it in stock for a long time, so finally got around to listing it, and it sold really quickly, so I'm very happy with that. This ASOS jumpsuit was listed for a few weeks. I finally dropped the price on it, and then it sold quite quickly after that. It's quite a hard sell because it's sheer, so yeah, I wouldn't know what to wear with it, but finally somebody bought it, so I hope they're going to enjoy it. This dress wasn't listed very long either before it sold. Again, I think monochrome, the fact it's got pockets, it's a larger size, all of those things meant that it shifted quite quickly, so very pleased with that. These boots were some that I picked up at the auction that we went to. They sat around for quite a while actually. The other boots that I picked up at the auction sold a lot quicker. I still have some of the kids' shoes, but the adult shoes went quite quickly, but these have stuck around. At the end of the day, again, I probably paid too much for them, but I've made a small amount of profit, so yeah, just very, very happy to see them moving on. Next up is this Zara Prince of Wales checked blazer. That pattern was really on trend last autumn, winter. I thought I was going to have to hold on to this until next autumn. I didn't think it would be a summer seller, but it has sold, and yeah, I'm just really happy with that. I've had this skirt for a while, and I had it cross-listed on Etsy as well. It's a vintage Brendella skirt, which is made in Ireland. It's very 90s, has the whole button-down trend on it. It's very bright and colourful, and I honestly thought that it would have more interest than it did. Perhaps it was the size, I don't know. Perhaps it was just a bit too out there, a bit too fugly for people. So I've incrementally been dropping the price on it, and eventually it sold on eBay for £9.99 with free postage. The customer left good feedback. She was very happy with it, but she said that I had described the colour wrongly, and I think she's right as well. I think when I first listed it, I honestly thought it was black, and looking at the close-up photos, I can see now that it's navy. So she's bought it also thinking it's black, and in fact it's actually navy, but she seemed to be quite happy with it. She's kept it, she didn't want to return it, so all's well that ends well. This was a jumble sale pickup. I think I paid £1 for it, and yeah, another thing that I didn't expect to sell during the summer, being that it's a wool tartan skirt, but it has sold. It's been listed for a while, and I'm just very happy to package it up and see it leave the house. I was pleased with this sale. I held out on price for it. I may have taken an offer, I can't remember now. But yeah, it's very disco, glam, 70s, that whole style. It took a while to sell, but eventually it found just the right buyer and they were very pleased with it. So yeah, really happy with that sale. And now we're on to some of my favourite things. I've been picking up a lot of wicker recently, plant pots, plant stands, bags, and this I found is a child's chair I found for £1 at a boot sale, and I've managed to sell it for £45, and I was absolutely thrilled with that. I was literally doing cartwheels when the sale came through. It sold really quickly within a couple of days, so yeah, thrilled. This plant pot holder I picked up at a jumble sale, and again I paid £1, and I managed to sell it for £20 with shipping on top. It's really quite difficult with wicker. You just have to kind of plucker, figure out the air and hope for the best, and if people don't bite, then drop the price. But so far so good. I've managed to get some really good profit out of the wicker that I've picked up, and with the next sale you'll see a really good example of that. This was my best and favourite sale of the whole month, of, well, not all time, because I've sold things for more money, but I loved this. I was so happy to find it, and yeah, just so happy to get £80 for it. I had absolutely no idea what it would sell for when I picked it up. I paid £4 for it at a boot sale, and I just had a hunch. I saw it from across the field and I kept looking at it, and I didn't go over to it straight away. It looked like a dealer's stall with lots of antique stuff, and I thought, the prices aren't going to be reasonable, but at £4 I was going to take a chance. I felt like it was always going to be worth more than £4, and I was right. And if I did cartwheels with the children's chair that I picked up, I was doing backflips with this one. I was so happy to sell it, and yeah, I just don't know what else to say really. I was just absolutely over the moon. I picked this jug up from the same boot sale that I bought the plant holder that I've just showed you. I paid £1 for that, and I was attracted to it in the first place because I thought it looked like Cath Kidston, and it turns out that Greengate are kind of the Danish version of Cath Kidston, and they're really quite sought after, especially in Europe. And this actually went to Germany. I went to a buyer in Germany, and I had a lot of messages from people all over Europe. They were interested in it, wanting me to add international postage. I think I did have GSP on, but they wanted to add my own international postage. So I did that in the end, and it sold within days for £25, yeah, with international postage on it. So I'm glad I had a hunch and I acted on it. So if you ever see any Greengate, pick it up because it is quite sought after. This is one of those items where it's been listed for a while, nobody's buying, and you're thinking, shall I drop the price? Or, I know, I'm going on holiday soon, I might actually take it off sale and keep it, and then it sells. So it's a mixture of emotions. You're kind of disappointed that it's sold because you had in your head how you were going to use it when you go on holiday, but also thrilled that it's sold. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But yeah, $16.99 with free postage, and hopefully somebody else is going to be using it for their holiday and loving it just as much. This was something that I picked up at a local fete. I think I only paid £1 for this one as well, and managed to sell it for £20 with postage. As you can see, I've used my daughter again to model. I just thought it would give more of a sense of the size of it and the capacity of the bag. And it sold really quickly, so whether that was because of the photos, I don't know, or whether it was just because it's Van Gogh and they sell well. Who knows, but yeah, very pleased with it. This bag was another boot sale pickup. I paid £1 or £2 for this, I can't remember now, but I sold it for £17.99 with free postage. So if you take the £2.99 postage off, it was a £15 sale. Yeah, it was a vintage bag. It wasn't in absolute pristine condition, but it was just so unusual and it sold quickly. Yeah, again, very on trend with the round handles, the round style, and just slightly unusual in its pattern. So if you see bags like this, definitely pick them up because they do sell really quickly at the moment. This camera is something that we took a chance on at the end of a boot sale. The lady was actually packing away. I was looking at something else that she had that I wanted to buy, and Nick was looking at cameras. She wanted £2 each on all her vintage cameras, and we were thinking, I'm not sure, because you know, we're still learning about different brands and different makes and what sells well, what doesn't. And we actually walked away. I bought the thing that I wanted to buy. We walked away. Nick had a quick look on eBay just to get an idea, and he said, yeah, I think it'll be okay. I'm going to go back and offer her £1 on it. So he did, and because she was packing away, she took it. And I said, well, I'm going to list it because it was something that I was interested in. I researched it, and this is the top price that I found that one had sold for on eBay. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go for it, and I did, and it sold £60 with free postage, which is just brilliant. So yeah, definitely look out for this model. You can't see the keyword in my title, but I did actually use that keyword that I've mentioned before, which is LOMO or lomography. There's a big trend for that with photographers looking for the old point and shoot 35mm cameras that, you know, just slightly let in a bit of light and give a different effect to the cameras and to the photos, and give it just that bit of more of a vintage feel. There's quite a movement for that. So yeah, that's the kind of camera that people are looking for. It's very sought after, and if you find something like that, then do use that keyword, because I think that's what helps it to sell. It's been really good fun actually, researching vintage cameras and 35mm film cameras. I've actually got a degree in photography, and for a long time I lost my passion for it. But now my daughter is starting to do an A-level in photography, and I've been starting to pick up vintage cameras and learning more about them and researching them, and I'm just, yeah, it's ignited the fire in me again actually. So I've actually started thinking about taking up photography again, but the reseller in me is just really enjoying learning about what sells, what doesn't, what's sought after, what's trendy, and it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. I think the vintage cameras could actually even be something that I would consider as something that I'd want to specialise in as a reseller, or definitely a niche. This kimono is what you would call a boomerang item. I sold it once and the lady returned it. She said it was far too big for her, which I didn't really understand, to be honest, because I know it's a size large and I've estimated it to be about a size 16. But I did say in the listing that it would fit someone a bit smaller, because I'm a size 12 and I tried it on, and although it does drape and it is quite large. A kimono is, you know, not meant to be fitting, it's meant to drape. So I think really it was just change of mind, to be honest. But at least she paid the return postage. I didn't have to pay that. It came back, I listed it, and then it sold again within a couple of days, and the lady was really happy with it the second time around, so it finally found a home. So this final sale is probably one of my favourite sales this month. I showed it in a haul video that I did, and it was also in our vlog of the boot sale, where you can see me picking this up along with a couple of other baskets, and I just really loved it. It's so tactile. I love the design. It's just, yeah, it's very cute. And you know what I'm like with my wicker, I love it. So yeah, I was just really, really happy to sell this. It went off to Italy, so somebody in Italy is enjoying that in their boho decorated home, I'm only imagining, and I'm, yeah, just really, really happy with that sale.